Hi everyone, welcome to this new video. Today I wanted to guide you through my personal build for Moira in Stadium. And by the way, I recently reached All-Stars 5 and I posted a video showing you my last games while getting there from Pro 2 to All-Stars 5. Really quick disclaimers that I need to make. First off, I'm just gonna assume for the sake of, the length of this video that you know how Stadium works. And number two, that you know how Moira works. So you know what her basic playstyle and her abilities look like. Obviously, I will show you everything that I can in this video so that you don't need to be reading everything from this build. At the same time, the build will be linked in the description on the website Stadium Builds. I made an account as well, so by clicking on the account, you actually see both the Mercy and the Moira one. You don't need, however, to make an account. I made it just because I created the builds. You just click the link and it opens and you can see for each single round. I added a couple notes there, but generically speaking, if you watch this video and keep that link at hand, you will be able to smoothly use the build without second guessing. So let's start from round one. Very simple. Our first power is Cross Orbal, and I'm gonna say it immediately, alright, because I see 99% of the Moiras using whatever it's called, the power that gives you 3 orbs. I used to use that as well. I don't like it because generically speaking, just one of those orbs will go wherever you intended it to go. Like, I feel like you use it with the expectancy of, oh, I will have a wider range. 9 times out of 10, you don't get to the round, around far into the game enough that you can build up on top of that. So for the most of it, I think for this build, it's not that useful, and I ended up never using it again. It was not missed, I can tell you that. Cross Orbal, very simple, launches an additional orb of the opposite type that you just used with 50 reduced capacity. 99% of the times, use this for damage, especially as we move forward, but I'll mention it again. This builds up with another power that's really good, but generically speaking, use it as the primary one, the damage orb, the purple orb. As for the basic items, I would say that these are kinda mandatory. The 3 items that we get specifically are the 5% attack speed, and we do that because we're actually building mostly on attack speed. Then we get 10% ability power and first aid kit, which gives you 25 shield and reduces the time before your life begins regenerating by 33%. What this means is that it will start healing you and start the auto heal much earlier, which is really good. This one is the only one that I would say you could switch up to a couple other items as long as it's within the same range, 1500, and it still gives you 25 shield or health. So perhaps it's like the single perk that you want something different, whatever, but the other two, I would say not, especially weapon attack speed is really good and really helpful right from the start. Round 2, already we kinda have a ramification, 2 possibilities. If this is your first time playing with this build and your team is doing, I would say average, okay? You're not destroying the other team. You will not win in the 3 consecutive win rounds, okay, with the Mercy rule. No. In these cases, so most of the time, go for Bio Needles, which gives you 10% attack speed and the secondary fire, so the damage one, restores 50% more bionic energy, so the healings, and together high capacity tubing, which gives you 10% weapon power and it gives you 50 max to your biotic energy. This way you have more healing juice and you restore it faster. And at the same time, you also have attack speed and weapon power. As you keep playing with this, you should easily be able to reach the 8k earnings. If you need to pick one of the two, I would say grab Bio Needles if you can't grab both. If it's really necessary, so you are at 3k, then do sell one of the items. Sell the weapon attack speed since you already get it from the Bio Needles. Otherwise, don't sell any. Don't sell all of your green items to get this too. No, at that point, just keep one of them and buy it the next round, the other one. The ramification comes because if you're doing really good, you want to gonna immediately pop off. In that case, you can opt, and you already have 10k, so you're not selling things, but maybe you got the MVP, which is why you got the bonus and everything, and you got 10k earnings from the first round. In that case, grab alternative energy. It gives you 10 ability power, 15 attack speed. When you use the fade, it fully recharges your healing juice. Round 3, in terms of items, we're still with this one. So you should complete and have the trilogy of bio needles, high capacity tubing, and alternative energy. As for the power, you should go for optimal overflow. After you spend 50 of the juice, you launch the last orb that you sent with 75 reduced duration. If you use this at the start of the match, so you haven't thrown any orb just yet, this is gonna be by default the healing one. For some of you this might be obvious, but I want to clarify it just in case, give you this little tip in terms of gameplay. Since now you have this item that lets you use an orb while you're healing people, it is much better that you try to position yourself in a way where by healing in the same trajectory, you can also throw the orb. So try to always be behind the teammate that you're healing and always facing the direction of where the enemies are. Obviously, don't over focus on this, don't hyper focus on this. This is not what you should be thinking about if your team is dying. And obviously opposite if last orb that you used was the healing one, so try to be facing your teammates or still be facing an angle or a wall that lets the healing orb get and bounce and get to your team. Round 4, it depends a lot on how many earnings you have. Generically speaking, I do like extend drills, which gives you 15 ability power and then 30 of the tendril range, so the orbs range, so they deal damage and heal for a bigger range than they normally do. I really like this one. Something else you could get instead is the wrist wraps, which I normally get, which is 5 ability power and 15 attack speed period. You could also go for the item that gives you like the slow orbs. That's a possibility. I personally have never found myself in the situation where that was a game changer, but that is by all means a possibility if you want to add to it, if you want to start selling everything else. However, this works just fine. Round 5, we get our new power. Here you can pick, and I'll tell you, first off, almost every single game I played, I went with Precautious Potency. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. The highlights that you heal are healed for 25% extra healing over 5 seconds. The other one that you could get instead is Deconstruction. So after you spend 50 energy, you deal 20 increased damage for 6 seconds. You will be able to see this physically because your hands will turn blue, like the damage boost, so you will be able to tell exactly how long it lasts and when it starts. In general, this builds up well with the optimal overflow, so it's always nice. However, for you to prefer Deconstruction, it means that your team is lacking damage, which in most cases it will not. It's a really egotistical move to go for Deconstruction when your team could use a little more heals. So I would say go with the Precarious whatever, and then go for Deconstruction as the last power. In terms of items, either you already have or you just bought Extend Drills, in which case you're gonna be fine. Now we see our final build almost pretty much. The next item is Subatomic Splitter, so either you are getting it this round because you got before the Extend Drills. I feel like Extend Drills should have priority, should be the first one you buy between these two. Subatomic Splitter gives you 10 weapon power and 15 secondary fire range. This is exceptionally good for flying heroes like Mercy and such. So when Genji tries to fly away from you, not fly literally, but you get it, dash away from you, you are an incredible counter to Genji. And so this way you also have a bigger range to be able to still finish him, and it's really, really good. By round 6, you already got everything so far. Then you grab the 3-tap Tommy gun, and instead you sell the wrist wraps, because that's pretty much the natural next item. So 3-tap Tommy gun gives us 10 ability power, 10 attack speed. After using an ability, your 3 next instances of weapon damage deal extra damage that it's dependent on the life of the target. It's 3%. In general, you deal slightly more damage. What I'm particularly interested in, as I said, is that it's like the natural progression of the previous one that we just saw. An optional item that you could get instead of this, if you're struggling in particular with Mercy, or as we said, flying heroes, you can get Aerial Distressor. It gives you 25 shield, which lets you, survive a little bit more when you fade into the backlines of the enemy, 10% attack speed, and then your weapon damage deals 25 extra bonus over 3 seconds to airborne enemies. So enemies that are currently flying. We're thinking Mercy, we're thinking Juno, we're thinking Freya, so on and so forth, also depending on abilities and powers that they might have bought. Round 7, as we said, you get Deconstruction or you get Precaution, whatever. So the 2 powers that we've been talking about, you get the other one that you didn't get, and you finish your build. You buy the last item that you can buy, depending on how much you spent so far, if you've completed your build already or not. As for like substitutes, I personally have been using this build religiously without making many changes. This build itself is pretty much a snowball build, meaning that obviously the more earnings you get, the faster you get there, but it is normal for you, especially as you start on round 1 and 2, to be struggling a little bit more. So this one was, I feel like, a little less debatable than the Mercy one that I made, but as I said, like, this is the build. Once I found this build, I never moved away from it, and I got to All-Stars by playing this and playing Mercy when I couldn't play Moira. It's really fun, it's really good, and obviously this is not for everyone, and obviously take this build as your basic build to start from, to start building and playing, and then change it to your needs and to your personal playstyle. If you end up trying it, let me know what you think. If you make changes, also let me know what you change in particular. Again, the link, if you're interested, is in the description. The Mercy one is in the description, and the edit of like my highlights of my last games getting from Pro 2 to All-Stars 5 in the description as well. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Good luck with your games. If you like this video, consider leaving a like to support me, and hopefully I get to see you in the next one. Bye!